How do we recognize an artist's book when it becomes an expanded practice? Is the same method of sourcing, research, and display of materials used in books and collections alike? Can the space where the book is made and exhibited be considered an artist's museum? These were my initial questions when I saw the Blackchapel bookwork at the MSDM House Studio Gallery in London in November 2019. Paula Roush's artistic practice is photographic, including installation and publishing. For the past 5 years, it has been developed in spaces that are simultaneously home, studio, and gallery. Through the process of making artist books, this live-work method is articulated in a unique way. The field of artist books began with the artistic vanguards in the early 20th century and had its resurgence and theoretical reformulation from the 1960s onwards. In recent years, the artist book has been, for some, the chosen vehicle for expressing and exhibiting their work, becoming itself an alternative to the institutional art gallery. In that process, the artist book has expanded so much that it ceases to be itself, and so has become one of the most difficult artistic genres to define. Blackchapel breaks the boundaries of what an artist book is, by making it almost impossible to assign definite characteristics to what the book is. What emerges is an expanded practice of the artist book. The project developed in response to the space occupied in Whitechapel from 2015. Photographs and artifacts sourced from the building site, literary research and archival material were first used in the exhibition Evidencing the East End, installed in the Stepney Way Warehouse, Whitechapel, in 2016, inaugurating the spatial model of the House Studio Gallery. This material has been reconfigured in the current space in Woolwich, being distributed in several clusters or constellations, together with other elements of different provenance, some in the state of sandwiches. Blackchapel's materials come from a photographic matrix, including topographic stencils, vernacular publishing, found photographs, and personal files. These materials are organised as collections and books. Collections are units of objects agglomerated systematically and kept in a particular space, whether a table, a room, or even the entire building. Books consist of a number of pages aggregated within a cover, which together form a conceptual unit. Blackchapel sandwiches of materials, be they collections or books, when installed in the space of the House Studio Gallery, all share this condition of being part of a space-time sequence and share with the building a narrative structure. This provides to the viewer moving through the building an experience similar to the reading of a book. Paula's main concern is immersion in the places where she lives and sources materials from. This method of immersion uses 3 key dispositives: collection, research, and display of materials that correspond to ways of doing, making visible, and conceptualizing both. These 3 operations of immersion form a regime of art. Blackchapel book is made of 4 unbound sections, thus presenting the material in a state of permanent mutability. This mutability is transparent because there is no clear separation between private and public space, between spaces of daily life, creation and exhibition, and no distinction between raw materials and completed works. In this process, there is a recombination of materials according to dynamic or changeable affinities. They are a permanent work in progress, endowing the new agglomerations, sandwiches, clusters, or constellations with a radical symbolic charge. The work of research and resignification of materials mobilized in Blackchapel is a process of contamination that has an anachronistic dynamic. The structuring logic of this dispositif, the investigation, is not necessarily chronological but of a different order, shaped by the rearrangement of the photographs and artifacts constructed from contextual survey and archival research. Such is the case with the combination of the psychogeographic survey of the area and the planning application for the site. Because in the action of this dispositif there is no linearity between cause and effect, no sensible continuity between, on the one hand, the production of images or words, and, on the other, the perception of a situation that compromises the reader's thoughts, feelings, and actions. The Blackchapel display, or what appears to us as complete works, is not in a final state. Its condition is recombinant, always transitory, and can, in a circular process, return to the condition of raw materials. Add to this the constant recombination of the exhibited artifacts whose materials are permanently moved between collections and books. This movement of transformation of the display between tables, books, and sandwiches is inherent to the construction of narratives, of object space, and the entire process of immersion. Blackchapel's total autonomy over the way the work is exhibited, communicated, and preserved, three activities that are part of the museographic process, relies on the framework provided by House Studio Gallery that presents itself as a total environment. This musealization of the House Studio Gallery can be contextualized by the critique of the contemporary art museum and its functions that emerged in the 1960s, when artists started to appropriate museological structures, the collection, the catalogue, the inventory, and the exhibition, as artistic poetics. Artist museum models and fictions include the Mold Museum by Dieter Roth, Mouse Museum by Claes Oldenburg, and the Museum of Modern Art, Department of Eagles, by Marcel Broters. By museographing their studios and practice, artists give their work the institutional, museal status, and transform their production into musealia, that is, in a museum object that integrates the museological field. This allows them to dispense with the institutional art circuit, escape the mercantilist logic of the art market, and gain control over the conditions of production and exhibition of their work. We witness, therefore, in the House Studio Gallery, another type of space that presents itself as a virtual museum, or potential museum, which exists in essence, but not in fact, a museal experience at the margins of the institutional reality. It is undoubtedly in this typology of artist museum that the immersive dispositives of collection, research and display result in an expanded practice of the artist's book.